Okay. Well, I'm getting married in the second quarter, April, May, June of 2012. I'm filming this over 11 years later. On Monday, 26th February 2024, I am Tanis Leonhardi. As my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. It's my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. I am a she, her, hers, and I am of Seattle. And the man I married was my Nathan Adrian, and he is a he, him, his, and of the Seattle area. So, yeah. We're Seattle peeps. Okay, although I'm more compositionally resemble a peep, like the marshmallow, like spelled M-A-L-L-O-W. Right? Marshmallow peep. I am more compositionally similar to a peep. I think we even had this. Did we have this discussion when we were getting married? I don't remember. Well, maybe. Okay. Anyway, so here I talk through what it was like getting married in the second quarter, April, May, June of 2012, when I was living in Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape, South Africa. I was a teenager, 19 years of age at the time of the wedding, and I have broached talking about this, got semi there, but it communicated that I was married to my parents, Aunt Danette, Grandma Connie, Uncle Gordy, and his wife Jan back in 2021, August 2021, so we'll get there. So this is a little bit on the progression. So it was towards the end of when I was leaving, we went out. It wasn't the finale, but it was like what I termed my finale because it was the last night I went out like partying and stuff. And we went to a club I had not been to before. I think some of the people had been there before, but I hadn't. And I think my drink of choice was vodka, Russian vodka. And we were dancing, and this guy comes in, and so it was my Nathan Adrian, because Nathan Adrian is not the most uncommon of namespaces. And like, we were both kind of awkward at that point in time. And he came in, and it was just like, oh my gosh, he's so handsome. But he had a gold wedding band already on, and it was kind of a turn off to some of the women I was with. And he proposed, and I said yes, and we went to the women's restroom and got naked, and we got married that way. And he put the ring inside me. I've already covered some of this. Okay, and I was blackout drunk at the time, though. There's in the parts I wasn't blacked out, and the parts and like the social interaction surrounding it, there was like people asking me about him and keeping me tuned in, like, and that kind of thing. And so, and I can remember parts of it, though it's a very fragile memory space, so it's not like the strength of the memory is the same of stuff that aren't in a blackout zone, so to speak. Sometimes they come back in like a push, and sometimes it's like pieces come back, and so this is for when I've been blackout drunk, and so this is one of the areas where it's like pieces instead of all at once kind of thing. And it was a great wedding. We were both very, very happy. The music song is this cliche, I don't know, was the sound of us trying to make babies. That was our music song, our wedding song. And I remember the morning after I woke up feeling the best I had, aside from the first 1 mile run I did in faster than 5 minutes. And to date, I think those are like, I just remember waking up in the morning and like I had had so much alcohol, and I had thrown up and like all this stuff, and people were like, I am so mad at you, Tanis. How do you feel that good after what you did last night? That's my husband, man. Okay. Anyway, so I was a teenager, 19 years of age at the time of the wedding, which was, I think my grandma Connie was the youngest. Like, she got married in her early 20s, if I'm recalling correctly. So there was a bit of like a realization of like, whoa, that's a really big torch to carry, like youngest in one's family for like 3 generations of family to marry. It's really big deal. Right? There's a whole lot of weight that comes with that and doing it right, not like getting divorced the next month, you know? And so over 11 years later, so I'm, as of today, filming this, Monday, 26th February 2024, I'm still married to him. We are married in life, through death and after death. So there we go. Although I was a bit of, I don't really, he has the paperwork and the nature of the relationship in terms of like him being a very high profile individual and me very much not, is how we have been treated as individuals and as a couple has been mostly disrespect by the public angle, so to speak, like as in published press and stuff. And so, and we were not successful in getting pregnant. So no babies were even conceived. Right? It's just kind of thing to follow up there. And it's the only wedding I have had where I've been awake. Some people, I think how I've in talking about this is people are like, well, do you consent to it now? Because if you consent to it now, then it kind of counts. But if you didn't consent to it now, it might not count. Right? It's a weird awaking state. It's not like I wasn't intoxicated. Right? So there's like blackout drunk and consenting. And then there's just like consenting and awake and non-impaired, so to speak. And so we are revisiting the me marrying him, and if I have another soulmate and or soulmates, potentially some of them, in a full waking state where I'm not, none of us are intoxicated or impaired or inebriated or whatever the term is one wants to use. So there. And so there's been a bit of, I don't really know how to bring this up with my parents, and I finally just had a complete mental breakdown the morning of Sunday, 8 August 2021. And I couldn't take it. I was like really depressed. And so I went downstairs and I told my parents that I got married when I was living in South Africa in Port Elizabeth, to a man named Nathaniel, which Nathan Adrian, his name is Nathan, not Nathaniel and not Nate. I've known a bunch of Nates, Nathans and Nathaniels in my life. So I got partway there on the name. I had concerns over my parents being able to remember it. I said Nathan, or them jumping to conclusions about the misinformation kind of published about each of us apart, kind of from the press. And so it was like, maybe they'll get there if I give them like a partway there, and then the when and the where. So South Africa in 2012, when I was living there, first half of 2012, I gave them that. And then I said they were there, but they weren't. And yeah. And so I told them that I was married, the when and where, and the name, right? The right namespace. So, and to who in the namespace, I suppose. And then by the end of the month, so by the end of August 2021, if I remember, I think it was yes, it was. I had informed in person my Aunt Danette, Grandma Connie, Uncle Gordy, and his wife Jan that I was married as well. I also ripped the Band-Aid off. I think this was the month where I told them I was married and I had been raped. Okay, the rape came before I got married, but I kind of just ripped the Band-Aid off on everything. And so that's kind of where we left that off. Now, if my Nathan Adrian comes to get me to move in with him and we get married or some combination, again, well, not married, I guess it'd be called like, not a second wedding, but a rejuvenation wedding. It's kind of like going through it in a different way. To reinforce what has already happened, kind of thing. Yeah, I guess we'd have the full conversation then if we hadn't had already, kind of thing. So that's a little bit about that. So I guess I told my parents I was married, when and where, in namespace of the who. When, where, and namespace of the who. Where the namespace is Nathan and Nathaniel. So that's what it's a little bit about what it was like on getting married. So this is a different performance, so to speak. There's the wedding performance, and then there's the marriage performance, which is you know, marriage is much longer than a wedding kind of thing. A wedding is a ceremony that ends, even if it's just going to sleep kind of thing. And the marriage is the enduring thing. So there we go. I was on getting married in the second quarter, April, May, June of 2012. So if you've been, I hope this fills in some holes about the my who and my wedding scenario kind of stuff is, well, depending on, we've received a fair amount of hate over this, and there's also concern of like, will our documents from South Africa be accepted outside of South Africa? And so there's been a bunch of just figuring stuff out as well. So there we go.